Good morning, everyone. Today we'll go for the anatomy of the ear. It is one of the sense organ in our body. The human ear, like that of other mammals, it contains the sense organ, and it serves the different functions, quite different functions. That of one is hearing, another one is for the postural equilibrium, and another one is coordination of head and eye movements. Okay. The human eye, like that of other mammals, it contains sense organ and that serve two quite different functions. One is hearing, another one is postural equilibrium, and another one is it coordination of the eye and head movements. Okay. The ear, it hears the different type of continuously hears the different type of sounds. Okay. In your ears, sounds are very everywhere, and you have to cool parts on your body that let you hear them all and your ears. Okay, you can go for the next slide. Today we will discuss about the anatomy of the human ear. Okay, the human ear divides into mainly three parts: external ear, middle ear, and inner ear. The external ear, it is say as a outer ear or oris externa, is the external part of the ear, which contains the content of the pinna and ear canal. Okay, it gathers sound energy and focuses it on the eardrum. The eardrum also say as a tympanic membrane. Another name for the external ear is auricle. Okay, the visible part of the auricle is also known as a pinna. Okay, the external ear or anatomy of the ear is divided into mainly three parts: external ear from the outer pinna or outer part of the ear to the tympanic membrane. In that, some part is bony cartilage and some part is cartilaginous and completely covered. One part is covered by the cartilages and the skin. Okay, the external ear also say as a or pinna or visible part of the external ear is say as a auricle or the pinna. Okay, the middle ear, okay, is a part of the ear. Okay, it is a part of the ear in between the eardrum and the oval window. Here is the oval window. Okay, this is the part in between the eardrum and oval window. It is the what is say the middle ear, or from the eardrum to the inner ear. In between the eardrum and inner ear, this is the middle ear. Okay. The middle ear consists of the three bones. One is malleus, incus, and stepens. The oval window, round window, and ischium tube. This is the ischium tube. This is the oval window. Okay. This like this. It is a middle ear and inner ear. Okay. Inner ear is mainly it is start from the in between, or it is also called as a librium of the ear. It is a part of the ear that consists organ of the sense of hearing and equilibrium. The bony librium is a cavity in the temporal bone. It is divided into three sections. One is vestibule, another is semicular canal, and cochlea. Okay, like this we can divide the anatomy of the ear in that external ear, middle ear, and inner ear. And go for the next slide. In this you can easily see the external ear. Okay, can see this is the tympanic membrane. From tympanic membrane to external, this you can say the visible part of the ear. It is said as a auricle, or you can say as a pinna. From here to tympanic membrane, this is a external ear. Okay, from tympanic membrane to oval window. Okay, or in between the external ear and internal ear. This is the what middle ear. The middle ear consists of the three bones. This is the malleus, incus and stapes, and it has a one window, that is oval window, and this is a ischion tube. Okay, like that it is a middle ear. And inner ear, it is present in the bony part of the temporal bone. Okay, and this inner ear mainly contains the vestibules, semicircular canals and cochlea. Okay, this part is say as a inner ear. Okay, and this, it is a inner ear is part of the ear that contains organs of sense of hearing and what equilibrium. Okay, it is also say as a labyrinth of the ear. Okay, like that you can divide it into external ear, middle ear and inner ear. You can go for the next slide. Okay, in the C ear, this is the outer ear or external ear. This is a visible part of the ear, or you can say as a pinna or auricle, and this is the ear canal. Okay, in that bony part, and this is the cartilaginous part. It is from the external ear to the tympanic membrane. From tympanic membrane to oval window. Okay, this is the internal middle ear. It contains the mainly ossicles and two windows, tube. Okay, and filled with the air. Okay, this is the middle ear. Okay, and this is the inner ear. Inner ear mainly consists the semicircular canals, cochlea and vestibules. Okay, like that, and it is present in the tympanic bone. Okay, in the temporal bone. Okay, we can go for the next slide. Okay, external ear, it also further divides into pinna, external auditory canal and tympanic membrane. The tympanic membrane is also say as a ear drum. Okay, we can go for the next slide. The external ear divides into pinna, external auditory canal and tympanic membrane. Pinna is also say as a auricle. You can see this is a parts of the external ear. You can go for in this helix, antihelix, triangular fossa, cochlea, tragus, antitragus and lobules. These are the parts of the and external auditory meatus. These are the part of the external ear. In that visible part of the ear or auricle, or these are the part of the pinna. Okay, in that first we can go for the next slide. In that we can clearly see the parts of the ear. Okay, you can see here. Okay, these are the parts of the visible part of the external ear. Okay, this is a tragus. Okay, see here, this is a tragus. Opposite to this tragus, another one cartilaginous projections are there. That projection is say as a antitragus, and this is concave part and cartilaginous part covered by the skin. This part is say as a helix. Okay, and opposite to that, another one is cartilaginous part is there, that is say as a antihelix. And in between the upper helix and antihelix, there is one triangular fossa or depression is there. That depression is say as a triangular fossa. Okay, and in between the tragus and antihelix, there is another one is depression is there or groove is there. That is say as a concha. Okay, and it is a external ear meatus. Okay, and this is a lobule of the ear. Okay, we can go for the one by one now. Okay, first helix. You can see here, this is a helix. It is a prominent rim of auricle is called as a helix. Okay, you can see here this like this. It is concave. Okay, this is a helix. Okay, it is a prominent rim of the auricle is called as a helix. Okay, now we can go for the anti-helix. The another curved prominence parallel with and in front of the helix is called as a anti-helix. This is a helix and it is just anti means opposite. Okay, opposite to helix, that is parallel. Okay, and it is also prominent. That's why it is say as a anti-helix. Okay, it is also curved prominent parallel with and in front of the helix is called as a anti-helix. You can go for the next slide. Concha. Okay, that the anti-helix described a curve around the deep and capious cavity. It is say as a concha. Okay, this is say as a concha. Concha means it is a cavity just opposite to the anti-helix. Okay, and the upper part of the cavum concha, the lower part of the cavum conchae. Okay, and it is present in between the tragus and anti-helix. Okay, and continues with it is with the external ear meatus. Okay, and continues with the ear canal. Okay, now tragus is a small, can see here this is okay, it is a small pointed eminence in front of the concha and projecting backwards over the meatus, external ear meatus. Okay, the small pointed eminence in front of the concha projecting backwards, okay, over the meatus. Now anti-tragus. Okay, it is present, another one projection is there, it is opposite to the tragus, that projection is say as a anti-tragus. Now ear lobule, this is part of the lobule. Okay, can say as a it is a ear lobule. Okay, the pinna is a pinna is a visible part of the external ear, that is say as a pinna. It is also say as a auricle. Okay, it gathers the sound energies and focuses into the ear drum. Okay, it gathers the sound energy and focuses into the ear drum. Okay, the pinna is a single piece yellow elastic cartilage covered with the perichondrium and the skin. Okay, except lobule and outer part of the external auditory canal. It is attached to the side of the skull by ligaments and muscles, and muscles are not well developed in human beings. Okay, you can see here in animals the ears are very big, and they are make the some movements also, ear movements. By that they are what do the ear condition in the ear. Okay, by the movements of the ear. Okay, or they also move the ear in the different directions, but in human this is not possible because in human being these muscles are not developed. Okay, the nerve supply of the pinna, the mainly greater auricular nerve, it supplies the most of the middle surface of the pinna, posterior part of the lateral surface of the pinna. Then lesser occipital, it is upper part of medial surface, and auriculotemporal, it is supplies the tragus, crus of helix and adjacent part of the helix. Okay, this is about the nerve supply of the pinna. You can go for the next line. Then blood supply, it is by the arterial supply of auricle. It is by the mainly posterior auricular artery and superior temporal artery. And lymphatic drainage is mainly by the periauricular lymph nodes, postauricular lymph nodes and upper deep cervical lymph nodes. Okay, this is the blood supply and lymphatic drainage of the pinna. Now we can go for the external auditory canal. The external auditory canal is mainly divided into two parts. One is cartilaginous part, another one is bony part, and it is extends from the concha. You already see the or external ear meatus to the ear there. This is a concha, okay, or external ear. This is the external ear meatus to the ear drum. Okay, ear drum is also say as a tympanic membrane. It is divides into two parts. One is bony part, another one is a cartilaginous part. The external auditory canal, it is a canal. Always you know the meaning of the canal. It is a passage. Okay, it gives the some structures pass from the some structure. In here, it gathers the sound energies and focuses it on the ear drum. Okay, here you can see that this is the bony part. You can see here this is the bone. Okay, and here you can see that this is the cartilage. That's why this external auditory canal is divided into two parts. That is, one is the bony part, another one is the cartilaginous part. Okay, 1/3 is cartilaginous. Okay, 2/3 is bony part. We can go for the next slide. Okay, external acoustic meatus or auditory canal. Also say as a external acoustic meatus or auditory canal. It extends from the concha to the tympanic membrane. Length it is 24 mm. It is shorter in childs. It subdivided into cartilaginous part and bony part. And cartilaginous is 1/3 part and bony part is 2/3 part. The cartilaginous part length is up to the average length is 8 mm and bony part length is average length is 16 mm. Okay, this is about the external auditory canal. Okay, can now go for the external auditory canal. It has the two ends. One is lateral end, another one is medial end, and it has the roof, floor, anterior wall and posterior wall. Okay, this is a lateral end and this is a medial end. This is a roof and this is a floor. Okay, and anterior wall and posterior wall. The lateral end is the bottom of the concha. Medial end by the sulcus, tympanic sulcus for the tympanic membrane attached obliquely. The the tympanic sulcus, it is nothing but a it is a groove on the tympanic ring where the tympanic membrane is attached. Tympanic sulcus, it is a groove on the tympanic ring where the tympanic membrane is attached. Okay, and it has the roof, floor, anterior wall and posterior wall, and it is lined by the skin continuous with the cuticular layer of the tympanic membrane, and it also has the wax glands, or it is also say as a ceruminous glands. Cerumen to prevent the maceration of the epithelium and warm humid for the effective vibration of the tympanic membrane. Okay, the blood supply of the external auditory canal. The external auditory canal is mainly supplied by the anterior auricular artery, posterior auricular artery and deep auricular artery. The anterior auricular artery, it is a branch of the superior temporal artery, and posterior auricular artery, it is a branch of the external carotid artery, and deep auricular, it is a branch of the maxillary artery, and it is drained by the drained into the external jugular vein, maxillary vein and pterygoid plexus. Nerve supply to the external auditory canal, roof and anterior wall by the auriculotemporal nerve, floor and posterior wall by the auriculo branch of the vagus nerve. Okay, this is the about the your external auditory canal, blood supply and nerve supply. Can go for the cartilaginous part. The cartilaginous part of the external ear, it is 8 mm in adult, continuous with the auricular cartilage, deficiently superior space, that is osseous by the internal ligaments. To deficiencies, infections from parotid and superficial mastoid can enter the canal and vice versa. The skin of the cartilaginous part, it is thick, hairy, follicles, sebaceous and circumvenous glands are present in the cartilaginous part. Bony part, it is 16 mm in adult, narrow than the lateral part, middle end marked by the tympanic sulcus. Most part of tympanic bone is superiorly by the squamous bone. Notch of the Rivenius is a junction of the tympano-squamous and tympano-mastoid suture lines. Okay, and it constructions has two construction, BC junctions and 5 mm lateral to temporomembrane junction. A skin is the thin divide of hair and circumflex glands. Here BC means bony and cartilaginous junction and 5 mm lateral to TM means tympanic membrane. Okay, can go for the next slide. Now we can go for the eardrum. It is also say as a tympanic membrane. Okay, the tympanic membrane is also say as a eardrum. Okay, the thin layer of tissue in the human ear that receives the sound vibrations from the outer ear and transmits them into the auditory ossicles, which are tiny bones in the tympanic or in the middle ear cavity. Okay, and this is the thin layer, membranous layer. Okay, and it is divides the external auditory canal and the middle ear, and it is also serve as the lateral wall of the tympanic cavity, and it is separating it from the external auditory canal. Okay, and it is sits in the tympanic sulcus. Okay, this external tympanic membrane, it sits in the, and it is lie at a just as a obliquely. Okay, and this membrane lies across the end of the external canal and looks like a flattened cone with its tip pointed inwards. The edges are attached to the ring bone of the tympanic annulus. Okay, this is about the eardrum. Okay, the tympanic membrane, okay, forms the partition between the external auditory canal and middle ear. It sits obliquely at the 45 degree with the floor of the external auditory canal. The posterior surface part more lateral than the anterior inferior part. Okay, and it is 9 to 10 mm in tall, 8 to 9 mm in width and 0.1 mm in thick. Okay, you can see here it is sit obliquely. Okay, and it divides the external auditory canal and the middle ear, and it is a thin membranous layer. Okay, and it is a how drum it vibrates. Okay, when you beat the drum, okay, how it vibrates, that same way it will vibrates and converts the sound to the middle ear. Okay, that same way waves are formed in the eardrum, and it is forms the lateral wall of the middle ear and medial wall of the middle end of the external auditory canal. Okay, it is attached to the or sit obliquely at the tympanic sulcus. The tympanic sulcus, I already explained what is meant by tympanic sulcus. Tympanic sulcus, it is a groove on the tympanic ring where the tympanic membrane is attached. Okay, can go for the next slide. I already explained this one. Okay, the tympanic membrane or eardrum, it is oval, semi-transparent, purely gray translaminar membrane and separates the middle ear from the external ear. It measures 9 to 10 mm in diameter, 8 to mm diameter mini maximum. Position, it is obliquely seated and 55-degree angle. The floor of the external osseous meatus. Okay, newborn it is horizontal. You can go for the next line. Can go now. We can go for the parts of the what tympanic membrane. Like this, it is a tympanic membrane is present. Okay, it has the, this is the pars flaccida, and this most part membranous part, okay, or cartilaginous membranous part. Okay, this is a pars tensa. Okay, and it is has a, this is a malleolus bone. It is covered by the this membrane. Okay, and in that it is a horizontal handle of the mandible, and this is the minimal lateral processes, short processes of the malleolus. Okay, and these are have the two folds. Okay, one is the anterior fold, another one is the posterior fold. You can see here. Okay, these are fold, and these above fold is the pars flaccida. Okay, like this it is attached to the malleolus bone, and here the junction of the incus and stepens you also you can see here in this. Okay, then in the now we can go for the parts of the tympanic membrane. First, you can what major part you can see in the tympanic membrane, that is a pars tensa. Okay, this is the part tensa. This is the pars tensa. Is the tense portion of the tympanic membrane. This one, the tense portion of the tympanic membrane, and refers to main portion of the membrane. Okay, this is pars tensa. Okay, it extends from the anterior and posterior malleolus fold. Okay, from here is the anterior and this is the posterior malleolus fold. It extends from the anterior and posterior malleolus folds at the level of the lateral. This is the lateral process of the malleolus. Okay, the malleolus to inferior extent to the tympanic membrane is attached. Okay, the pars tensa, it is a tense portion of the tympanic membrane and refers to main portion of the tympanic membrane. Okay, this is pars tensa, and it is extends from the anterior and posterior. This is a posterior fold, or you can say the anterior malleolus fold, anterior and posterior malleolus folds. Okay, from at the level of the, this is the level at the level of the lateral processes of the malleolus. Okay, from here it is start to inferior, it is start and extends of the tympanic membrane that it's attached to the tympanic, or it is a cartilaginous a ring shaped object. Okay, fibrocartilage ligament. Up to that it is all what is a pars tensa. Okay, now we can go for the pars flaccida. This is a pars flaccida. Okay, this is a what, it is a small triangular flaccid portion of the tympanic membrane or ear drum. You can see it is triangular in shape and it is small compared to the pars tensa. Okay, then it is present superior to the pars tensa. The pars flaccida, it is present superior to the pars tensa, and it is lies above the malleolar fold. These are the malleolar folds. This is the anterior malleolar fold and this is the posterior malleolar fold, and pars tensa is present above the pars flaccida is present above this fold. Okay, it is a small triangular flaccid portion of the tympanic membrane or eardrum, and it is present above the anterior and posterior fold of the malleolus. Okay, or it is present lateral processes of above the lateral processes of the malleolus, or it is present superior to the pars tensor. Okay. And it is lies above the malleolar fold, attached directly to the vitreous bone at the notch of the Revenius. Okay, it is directly attached to the portion of the bone at the Revenius, notch of the Revenius. Now you can see here, this is a thick ring-like structure, one ring-like structure. Okay, this one. Okay, like this. Okay, this is say as a annulus. Okay. Annulus means, the word meaning of annulus is a ring shaped object. Okay, annulus means the annulus of the tympan. Okay, is a fibrocartilaginous ligament that supports the tympanic membrane in a sulcus at the end of the outer ear canal. Okay, annulus, it is a ring-like structure. It is a fibrocartilaginous ligament that supports the tympanic membrane, or it is give the shape of the tympanic membrane. Okay, membrane in a sulcus at the end of the outer ear canal. This is a ring-like structure, fibrocartilaginous ring. Okay, this is say as a annulus. Okay. Now you can go for the, can see this is the malleolus bone. It is attached or covered by the thin membrane. That membrane is say as a tympanic membrane, and it is has the lateral processes and small processes, and it is the handle of the malleolus. Okay. Now you can go for the Okay. Now umbo. Okay, is a central most. Okay, so this is part. Okay, this is as a umbo. This is the central most inverted portion of the eardrum. This is it is a central most inverted portion of the eardrum, and it is most depressed aspect of the this concavity. Okay, this is most depressed part of the, and it is centralized, most centralized portion of the tympanic membrane, and is an inward projection of the tympanic membrane of the ear. Okay, this is is the central most inverted portion of the eardrum, the most depressed aspect of the concavity of the eardrum, is an inward projection of the tympanic membrane of the eardrum. This is say as a Okay. Now here it is a cone of light. The cone of light or light reflex. You can see here it is. Okay, cone of light. Okay. This is nothing but a visible phenomenon which occurs upon examination of the tympanic membrane with an otoscope. Okay, this corresponds to the 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock at the right ear. Okay, then 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock at the left ear. This is the tympanic membrane of the left ear. How you can identify tympanic membrane, it is right or left? If it is present 7 to 8 tympanic cone of light, then it is left ear. If it is present at the like this here 4 to 5 o'clock, then it is the right ear. The apex of the cone, you can see this is the base and this is the apex. The apex of the cone is at the most depressed part of the tympanic membrane. Okay, that depressed part of the tympanic membrane also is as a Okay, the apex is attached to the most depressed part of the tympanic membrane. You can go for the next slide. See in this. Okay, this is the handle of the malleolus. This is the centralized part of the tympanic membrane. Okay, or central most inverted portion of the eardrum. That is nothing but you can see as a and this is the lateral processes of the malleolus. and this is the anterior fold of the malleolus, and this is the posterior fold of the malleolus, and it is covered, this malleolus is covered by the or attached by the what tympanic membrane. Okay, in that pars tensa, it is a nothing but a most flaccid, okay, tense portion of the tympanic membrane, and refer a main portion of the this tympanic membrane. It extends from the here, okay, anterior and posterior malleolar fold to the inferior, okay, and lateral. This is the lateral. From it extends from the lateral processes of the malleolus to the anterior and posterior malleolar fold at the level of the lateral process of the malleolus to inferior extent to the tympanic membrane at its attachment. Okay, now we can go further. This is the pars flaccida. It is a small triangular portion, okay, of the tympanic membrane or eardrum. It is lies above the malleolar fold. These are the malleolar folds, anterior and posterior malleolar fold, or it is lies above the superior to the tympanic membrane. Okay, and it is lies above the malleolar fold and attached directly to the petrous bone at the notch of the Revenius. Okay, and now we can see that this is the fibrous cartilaginous ring-like structure. Okay, this is as a tympanic annulus. It is a fibrous. This is a tympanic annulus. Okay, this is a fibrous fibrocartilaginous ligament. Okay, that supports the tympanic membrane in a sulcus at the end of the outer ear canal. Okay, and this annulus is the thickened edge of the pars tensa of the tympanic membrane. Okay, this is the pars annulus of the tympani. It is a thickened edge of the pars tensa of the tympanic membrane. Then we can go for the umb. It is a nothing but a centralized part of the centralized most inverted portion of the eardrum, and is inward portion of the tympanic membrane of the ear. Okay, and is the most depressed aspect of this concavity. Okay, and the apex of the cone at the most depressed part, and that depressed part is say as a Okay, now we can go for the cone of light. The cone of light or light reflection. Okay, reflection is a visible phenomena which occurs upon examination of the tympanic membrane with the otoscope. This corresponds to on the 4 to 5 o'clock at the right ear, 4 to 5 o'clock at the right ear, and 7 to 8 o'clock at the left ear. Okay, the apex of the cone, okay, is most depressed. It attached to the most depressed part of the tympanic membrane, and this is the base of the cone. You can go for the next slide. The tympanic membrane is further divides into posterior superior quadrant, anterior superior quadrant, posterior inferior quadrant, anterior inferior quadrant. Like that also we can divides the tympanic membrane. Okay, in this when you examine by the otoscope, you can see the tympanic membrane like that. This is the most centralized depressed part of the tympanic membrane. Okay, it is as a okay, inverted portion of the eardrum, and this is the short or lateral process of the malleolus, and this is the in between that it is a handle of the malleolus, and you can see as a it is a thick, okay, thickened edge of the pars tensa. okay, is of the tympanic membrane. It is say as a annulus. You can see here, this is thickened part like this. Okay, I have a fibrocartilage ligament that supports the ring-like structure that supports the tympanic membrane in a sulcus, that is say as a annulus. Okay, and just above the short process of the processes of the malleolus or anterior and posterior fold of the malleolus, you can see the triangular portion, flaccid portion of the tympanic membrane. Okay, it is say as a pars flaccida, and most tense portion of the tympanic membrane is referred to the main portion of the membrane, that is nothing but a pars tensa. Okay, and it is extends from the lateral malleolus, then anterior and posterior fold of the malleolus to lateral inferiorly. Okay, and up to the extends to the tympanic membrane. This is about your tympanic membrane. Okay, now you can go for the pars tensa. From most, it is a forms the most of the part of the tympanic membrane. Peripherally it is thickened to form a fibrocartilaginous ring. That thickened part is say as a annulus tympanus. Okay, and it is fit in the tympanic sulcus. I already said tympanic sulcus is a groove on the tympanic ring where the tympanic membrane is attached. The central part of the pars tensa is tented inwards at the level of the tip of the malleolus, we say as a or central, or you can say as a central most inverted portion of the tympanic membrane as a and or inward projection of the tympanic membrane of the ear, it say as a The cone of the light, the bright cone of the light is radiating from the tip of the malleolus to the periphery in the anterior-inferior quadrant. Now, pars flaccida, which is situated above the lateral process of the malleolus between the notch of the ravenous and the anterior and posterior malleolar fold, appears slightly pinkish in color. Then tympanic membrane, it has a subdivision as a pars flaccida, pars tensa. Surfaces, it has two surfaces. One is a lateral surface and it is concave, and medial surface it is convex. Okay, and lateral surface it continues with the external auditory canal, and medial surface is forms the lateral wall of the middle ear, and it is a most convex region at the Okay, you can see here in this picture, you can clearly how it is convex at the You can see here how it is concave. It is concave towards the external auditory canal and convex towards the middle ear, and this is a part, centralized part or inverted part of the ear drum. Okay, like that. Okay, you can see here clearly. And between the fibrous and the muscular layer, there is handle of the malleolus and crossed medially by the chorda tympanic nerve. It has the three layers. Okay, the tympanic membrane has the three layers: outer epithelial layer continuous with the skin lining the meatus, inner mucosal layer continuous with the mucosa of the middle ear, the middle fibrous layer enclose the handle of the malleolus, and it has a three type of fibra: radial, circular, and parabolic. And pars flaccida are not organized fibrous layer. The outer circular layer, it contains the keratinized hairless divide of dermal papillae. Intermediate fibrous layer, it is outer radiating and inner circular fibers, and inner muscular layer, it is a simple columnar and squamous layer. Okay, and blood supply by the tympanic membrane: deep auricular artery, stylomastoid artery, anterior tympanic artery, and venous drainage by the outer layer by the drain by the external jugular vein, inner layer drain into the transverse sinus and pterygoid plexus. nerve supplied by the tympanic membrane, auriculotemporal nerve, anterior half of the lateral surface, auriculo branch of the vagus nerve, the posterior half of the lateral surface, and tympanic branch of the Jacobonus nerve. It is a medial surface. The cranial nerve is 9. Nerve supply outer surface by the auriculotemporal nerve, auricular branch of the vagus nerve, and inner surface by the tympanic branch of the glossopharyngeal nerve. Okay. Did you know the right ear is better at hearing speech and the left ear is better at hearing music? Okay, now you can go for the middle ear. Okay, you can go in next class. You can discuss about the middle ear and inner ear. Thank you very much.